Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Section 5.1 Notes. Today we're talking about solving linear systems by graphing. Our learning target today is to be able to check whether an ordered pair or a point is a solution to a linear system, and to be able to solve a linear system by graphing. So here are the notes that we took in class. A linear system is two or more linear equations, and I highlighted the word line in there to remind us that a linear system is two lines, okay? And the solution to a linear system is a point where two lines intersect, and the point makes both equations true, not just one, both of them true, okay? So if you need to continue with those definitions, pause the video. Otherwise, I'm moving on. All right. So example 1, is 5, 7, negative 7 a solution to the following system? What that is pretty much telling us to do is that we need to plug in. Okay, remember that this is your x and this is your y. Okay, so in our first equation, when we plug in, wherever we plug in, I'm just going to put parentheses. Okay, so the y is negative 7 and the x is 5. Okay, so we've got negative 7 equals, and this negative 5 minus 2, well, negative 5 minus 2, that's negative 7. Do those equal each other? Yeah, okay. Those are the same. So you can't be like, yay, I'm done. Okay, that's only the first equation. We've got 2 to do. Okay, so once again, I'm plugging these in. So y is negative 7 and x is 5. Okay, so the left side is just negative 7. 1/5 times 5, remember that's 5 over 1, so 5 over 5, which is 1. And then 1 minus 8, if you need to do the click, are they same or different? They're different. Do you have more positives or negatives? Negatives. And the negatives win by 7. Okay? So we know that they both work. So is it a solution? Yes, it is. All right, so number 2, we're doing the exact same thing. Okay? We have our two equations. Make a little spot to do both of the problems. Let's see, sorry. So now we're plugging in y is negative 1 and x is negative 2. So I'm just going to do that on both of these so I don't forget. Okay, so we got negative 1. Now negative 1/2 times negative 2, well, negative times negative is positive, and half of 2 is 1. And then 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So the first one, yay, it works. Now the problem in yellow. Negative times a negative is a positive 6 plus negative 1. Well, 6 plus negative 1, that's 5. And does 5 equal 7? Nope. Okay. So this one is no. Okay, so yes or no is your final answer. So when two straight lines are graphed, there are 3 possibilities. Okay, so if we're graphing them on the plane. Okay, so what I'm going to do real fast, since I need that, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. So I have my 3 graphs. There we go. Okay, so our first one that we have is when two lines intersect. So I'm going to graph one line right here, and my other line right there. Okay, those lines have a clear intersection. Okay, which means that there is one solution to that problem. Okay, another way you can have it is when they don't intersect. So these lines are never, ever, ever going to intersect. Okay, they have zero solutions. And I loved it in class. Someone said, "Hey, Mr. Grice, aren't those parallel lines?" I said, they sure are. And our other option is when one line is on top of the other. So you actually have both lines right there. And for this one, we have infinite solutions. Okay, not infinity, infinite solutions. Okay, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of answers. Okay, and that only happens when one line is on top of the other. Okay, so let's remember some graphing. Okay, a couple reminders. When it's y equals mx plus b, m is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. Okay, this is a diagonal line. Okay, when it's an x equals a number, just x, this is going to be a vertical line. And if you ever need to know it, your slope is undefined. Okay? And the other one that you can have, I'll move that over a little bit, is you can have a y equals. Okay, so when it's a y equals a number, that's going to be a horizontal line. And your slope is 0. Okay? So vertical line, horizontal line, and diagonal can either be a negative or a positive. Okay, that's your crash course of algebra. All right, let's get back to it. So I've got two variables, so I know it's a diagonal. My slope is 2 over 1, because I'm stealing that right there. And then where I begin is 0, -1. Okay, so I'm going to start my graph at -1. And then I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And all I am doing is just following that slope. And since I don't know where they're going to intersect, I'm going to do the whole graph, okay? And then I'm going to use my straight edge to draw my line. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to start my other line. Now my slope is -1, and that's -1 over 1, and that's right there, okay? And now the next thing is where we begin, and I'm beginning at 0, 5, because right there it's a +5, okay? So starting at +5, it's negative, so I go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and right away we see where they intersect, okay? I always do a couple more points just so I make sure that my line is nice and straight, because I don't want Miss Carranza to yell at me. Always draw our arrows. If you want to put another point, if you want to circle it, whatever you want to do, just so you know that that is where they meet. Okay, that's the point of intersection. And then we need to describe that point in our answer. So I go +2, up 3. and that's where they intersect, the point 2, 3. All right, our next one. Y equals -2. Now, didn't I just write something about when it's a y equals graph? Oh yeah, it's horizontal. Okay, so I know that it's a horizontal line starting at -2. So where y equals -2, which is right there, it's a horizontal line. You can just draw a line going straight across. Okay. And now all we have to do is graph our next one. So I know that my slope is 1/3 and my y-intercept is 0, 1. Okay. So when I'm starting at 0, 1 and I go up 1/3 up, if I keep going up, am I going to find out where they intersect? No. Okay, so follow the slope in the opposite direction. Okay, you find the point of intersection and draw the line. Okay, and now, what is the point? Now, be careful how you describe this, because in class, somebody told me that that was -2, -9. And -2, -9 is right there. Okay, so you got to make sure that you put the x first and then the y, because this is -9, -2. Okay? All right, let's flip it over. Okay, so once again, it's telling us to solve and be sure each equation is in slope-intercept form first. All right, now, thankfully, our first line right here already is. Okay, so I know that my slope is -7/6, and I begin at the point 0, -2. Okay, so at 0, -2, I'm drawing my line, or my point. I go down 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, over 6, and I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. Okay? Be very careful counting your points, guys. Okay? It's very simple to make a little mistake. Okay, now our second one, we have to solve that. So we want to get the y by itself. So I'm going to subtract x to both sides. And we get 3y equals -x plus 9. To get the y by itself, we have to divide everything by 3. And remember that there's an imaginary 1 in front of that x, so we get -1/3 x plus 3. So from that line, we get the slope of -1/3, and then we find out that our y-intercept, where we begin our graph, is 0, 3. Okay, so at 0, 3, I'm going to start. I go down 1/3, down 1. No, I'm not going to meet the line over there, so I'm going to go the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go one more point just to get my line. All right, so I'm drawing my line right now using my ruler. And I find out that they meet at the point right there. And that is the point, you guys know it? -6, +5. Okay? All right, number 4. Right away, x equals -2. Okay, that's a vertical line. Okay, it's an x equals. So I'm going to go straight to where x equals -2. I'm going to draw my point, and that is where my line comes from. All right, so now all we have to do is solve for x, or solve for y, I'm sorry. So we're going to add 2x to both sides, and we get -4y equals 2x plus 32. We're going to divide everything by -4 because we want the y by itself. Reduce that fraction, and it's -1/2 x minus 8. Now, someone in class asked, is there a difference between where you put the negative? And that answer is no, as long as you know that it's a negative slope. All of those mean the same thing, okay? So, graphing this line, our slope is -1/2, and we begin at 0, -8. Okay, so 0, -8 is down here, down 1, over 2, down 1, over 2, ran out of room. There we go. Okay, so I just followed the pattern the opposite direction, and now I'm going to draw my line. Okay, the point of intersection, which is right there, and that is the point -2. Was that -6? Nope, -7. Always make sure to count. Okay, double check. Number 5. Now, number 5, it looks like we have to solve it, both of these. Okay, so make sure you have room to write both of them. And if you don't have colors, you can write like, hey, here's number 1, here's number 2. All right, so we gotta solve both of them. I'm gonna start with the blue. We have to add 6x to both sides, and we get 9y equals 6x plus 18. Okay, and now to get the y by itself, we have to divide by 9. And guys, you have to be very careful because we made a mistake in class about this. Okay, 6 over 9, reduce that to 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, so our slope for number 1 is 2/3, and where we begin is 0, 2. All right, so I'm just going to graph that right now. So I'm starting, I'm starting at 0, 2, and I'm going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. And I'm going to do that in both directions. Okay, now that we've got our line, or all of our points, I'm going to draw the line and add the arrows. Okay, that's our first one. Now let's solve our second one. Once again, we are solving for y because we need it in y equals mx plus b. So -3y equals -2x minus 9. To get the y by itself, I'm dividing by -3. And I get y equals 2/3 x plus 3. So for this equation, our slope is 2/3, and we begin at 0, 3. So starting at 0, 3, I go up 2, up, don't meet there, don't meet there. Oh, well, maybe they meet down here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Nope. Nope. What the heck? Why aren't these lines meeting? Oh, you know why? Look at them. They are parallel lines. And remember, parallel lines have the same slope. If they have the same slope, they don't meet. So this is a no solution. Okay? Got to be very careful with these. Okay? All right, so there's our two lines. Remember, if you want to write 1, 1, okay, however you want to do it, okay? Negative 2x plus y equals 4. And our second one, which is 4x minus 2y equals negative 8. Okay, let's start our solving. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. And when I do that, I get y equals 2x plus 4. Awesome. The line's already by itself, or the y's by itself. So our slope is 2 over 1, and where we begin is 0, 4. So let's go ahead and graph that. Starting at 0, 4, I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I don't know where my line's going to meet. So I'm going to go all the way down. Whoops. Let's make that line nice and straight. I already know that one's not going to be straight. There we go. Add my arrows. All right, let's solve that other one. I have to subtract 4x to both sides. And we get negative 2y equals negative 4x minus 8. I'm going to divide by negative 2. And I get y equals 2x plus 4. Remember, negatives divided by negatives are positives. So I get a slope of 2 over 1 and a y-intercept of 0, 4. All right, let's graph. 0, 4. Hey, did I find my point? Am I done? No, because I got to draw the line. So up 2 over... Whoa, take a look at this. All the points are the exact same. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line on top of it. It might be difficult, but as best as you can, show that you have two lines on top of each other. Okay? And when we have that, our answer is infinite solutions. Okay? Don't be lazy. Don't write IS. Okay? We don't ask you to write a lot in math, so 2 words isn't that big of a deal. Okay? All right, guys. Well, that's it for Algebra 2, Chapter 5.1 Notes, Day 1. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.